Hello, everybody. It's Ethan McKinley, and welcome. Easy. It's episode 23 of the 2-Minute Terminator, where me and Ellie break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. Hi, Ellie. How are you?
I'm absolutely marvellous. How are you?
You're not so marvellous, are you? Because we've got some anomaly. Apparently, Captain Beefheart here, when he was editing the clips together, I had to re-edit something about 2 weeks ago, and we've lost about 30 seconds between the last clip, and it involves Sarah pointing a gun at Kyle Reese so he doesn't throw the chip away that powers the time circuits. Ellie, how are you?
I'm great, apart from the fact you completely fucked this timeline.
That's all right. We'll be back to normal, I think, as of tomorrow, so it's all good. I'm Ethan McKinley. I'm the host of the 2-Minute Terminator. We break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time.
Ethan, hit the music.
Yeah, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Load up.
You didn't do the fourth. Thank God. It sucked. It's so good.
And we're back.
We are back.
Yes, we are on episode 23. We're going from minutes 44 to 46. Is that correct, Ellie?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Occasionally we make some mistakes on the show, and then we try and go back in time to correct the timeline.
Oh, shit, I scared the life
we're
out
not
of me.
always successful.
Sorry.
We break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. If you've just joined us, thank you for joining us. If you're an old listener, put face cream on, you're a lot younger, and listen to more shows. Ellie.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in for the 30 seconds that we've missed. So the last 2 minutes ended with Jai. He was about to explain that he's had this memory and that he now knows that they need to actually go forward in time, not to 1997, but to 2017. Yes. Sarah kicks up a fuss, naturally, woman. And she says, no, we're going to
stop that
1997, because actually that's another poignant thing. Jai explains that Genisys is Skynet, and that if they destroy Genisys, Skynet will never come to power. So basically that's why he's saying that they should go forward to 2017, because he has seen this alternate timeline.
Right.
She says, nope, we're going back to 1997, and he looks, absolutely devastated. And then in a moment of madness, he goes over to the chip that's in the machine that will power the time displacement, whatever, and he removes it. Sarah goes absolutely mental. She grabs a handgun and then walks up to Jai and points it at him, and she goes, give me the chip now. And that's kind of where we left off. I did have a question about that particular part as well. Arnold doesn't do anything. Now,
he doesn't intervene or kind of break his arm or something. Yeah.
See, I would have thought that if his sole purpose was to protect Sarah, that's a huge threat to Sarah's future. So
by just touching the chip, he'd just break his arm off and beat him with it.
Easily.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I found that a bit like, And also Arnold seems to know a hell of a lot more than he's actually let on. I was like, how does he know all this shit? Like, how did he know that if Jai had been exposed to crazy future altering experience, that then he would be able to see alternate timelines? I mean, how the hell did he know that? Why hasn't he mentioned that before?
I don't know. I think he's hypothesizing as well, but again, as far as we know, and when asked, he would say if he did know. So it's obviously hidden information. I can only imagine that
maybe it's hidden by the person that sent him back in time.
Yeah, for sure. But it's just like I think they've not even, the people writing this haven't even thought of that.
Themselves.
Yeah, already. I think maybe they're making this film, and hopefully we'll get lucky with a sequel by doing a second one in this new trilogy, which isn't going to happen now. I just couldn't see them. Like, who could it be? Who could this mysterious person be? Because I know that their idea would be like, it's like this big twist. You're like, I never thought it'd be him. Or how could it be Sarah Connor sending him the chip back? Or some crazy, I don't know, thing like that. I don't know. I couldn't imagine who this person is that's programmed the Terminator and set all these. You know what? It's probably Skynet.
Maybe
isn't it?
It's Brewster.
Who?
Do you remember in the third film? Brewster?
But this is not Kate Brewster. I don't think this is connected to the third film, though. I think this is meant to be a standalone trilogy which kind of acknowledges what's happened before, but it wants to be its own separate entity. That's
John
the
Connor
only,
never had a girlfriend. Aww.
Yeah, we've said ad infinitum, like the Highlander series, which is much worse than this, of course. But it's patchy because so many people have owned the copyright holdings over the years and made their own version of the Terminator and kind of messed it up and forgotten what the Terminator really should be. So,
Too many dicks spoil snatch.
Yeah, and I think they've tried to start off with their own thing now and trying to be really clever about who this person... I mean, who could this person be that's programmed and set all these things up for them?
It would make more sense if they linked it with Terminator 3, because then, ideally, that would have been Kate Brewster, because Kate Brewster becomes John Connor's wife, who obviously would need Sarah to be alive for John to exist, so that would make sense.
But Kate Brewster's a character they added in Terminator 3, which isn't... Is it considered canon?
No,
I'm not...
I'm just saying that it would make sense if they had linked it.
Oh, no, I agree, but they've not alluded to her existing at all in this universe.
But that was just a thought process that I had, because it was Kate Brewster that sent the Terminator back in the third film.
And also, she was a kind of convenient plot device made in the third film, which they carried over with Bryce Dallas Howard playing her in the fourth.
So it would make sense, but unfortunately, I think the people that made this film had a few chromosomes missing. But yeah, so then we start this particular 2 minutes with... and that's another thing that you miss from this slightly skewed clip. Jai then recants something that was said to him when he goes back into his alternate past, and he's this young kid and he's happy and he's at home and everything. And he puts his palm out and it says, "You just follow the line and keep going forward," or whatever. He grabs Sarah's hand when he's going to give the chip back after she's threatened him at gunpoint. Plus, he's a huge dude. You just whack the gun out of her hand, but then again, she does have a bouncer.
Well, again, that would prompt the Terminator to run over and kill him, I presume.
Still, though, I'd love to slap that.
He's essentially a presidential bodyguard, isn't he? So you couldn't really get anywhere near to her.
Well, she's pretty damn close. And he didn't seem to do anything when he took the chip, so who knows? Maybe Arnie would like to see a showdown. Go on, Sarah.
By the way, Lee, in the New Orleans location of this shoot, where they are now shooting, Emilia Clarke rented a friend of hers' house, Michael Huseman's apartment in Louisiana. He is, of course, one of her co-stars from Game of Thrones.
Ooh!
Now, Emilia Clarke worked with Lena Headey, and Jason Momoa on Game of Thrones. Lena Headey, of course, played Sarah Connor in the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show. So you've got two Sarah Connors in Game of Thrones. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Do you even care?
No.
Good, moving swiftly on.
I just can't commit to Game of Thrones. There's just too much. I think it's so big a series. I'm just far too late in the game to kind of get involved. Plus,
60 episodes.
I was like, you'd love it. It's full of incest and tits and rape. From the sounds of it, that's all that happens. So, do you not just become a bit desensitized to it?
No, it's pretty good. I don't know. I'm kind of like, I don't really like series because it's such a commitment, and you have to watch like 10, and they're all like cliffhangery, so you have to watch the next one. It's like, I prefer movies. You get in and out quick, done.
Yeah, so Jai grabs Sarah's hand when he gives the chip back, but he follows his finger along her palm and says, "Just carry on going straight and keep going forward and don't look back." And she looks at him and she goes, "How do you know that?" And it's because I think I remember she's the one that actually says it to him. So I think that's why it kind of freaks her out. But that is what changes her mind. And then when this 2-minute clip starts, she says, and we go to 2017, and then what? And then Jai goes on to say, well, Genisys is Skynet. We can kill Skynet before it's even born. That's what he says. There we go. And Arnie agrees. And then she goes, "Oh, all right then." It's like, what? You just pointed a gun at his head. "Oh yeah, but if we do this, then that'll happen." "Oh, okay, go on, let's go for it." So easily swayed. But then again, like, he is kind of going to be the father of John Connor, so she kind of has to go along with it. Any thoughts on this so far?
No, I was just going to say, as I mentioned before, this is not really connected as such to the previous Terminator films. Christian Bale, of course, starred as John Connor in the last film. Now, had he carried on as John Connor for this film, Terminator Genisys, it may have been a direct continuation of the previous film, Terminator Salvation. It would, of course, explained how the Terminator Pops knows about Kyle Reese, that the T800 got sent back to 1984 in the events of the original film from Terminator 2. That, of course, didn't happen, so I think they're just like pulling things out of their ass. I've also got a note. Carl's memories only begin when Matt Smith's Skynet attacks Jason Clarke's John Connor. Those are my thoughts. I'm a bit rutty today. I think we have not done one for over a week. I start to go.
I'm on fire.
You are on fire. You're great. You're powering the show. You're doing great.
I know. Yeah. So coming on to this now. Again, I thought it was very interesting. 1 minute she's really, really angry and she's saying, "No, this is what we're doing. You think you're just going to lock me in a room and I'm going to give birth to the son of the future and whatever." He then suggests this other plan, says this line to her, rubs her palm, and then she goes, "Oh, okay then." And then she goes, "And we blow the whole thing up?" And then she goes all gooey-eyed, she starts pursing her lips, and then the next minute she's getting her knackers out in a bloody changing room. Sarah's a right whore.
Yeah, I think the way that she kind of acts as well, when she takes the top off, she looks like she's got some kind of seduction agenda with him. It's like, ooh, if I put my shoulder this way or this way. I don't know.
Also, so we then go to the changing room locker scene, which the filming has now gone into a very kind of warm light. So we see them and their bodies, you know, they're they're topless and their bodies are almost glistening. So it's almost suggestive, like it's a hot, sexy scene. I mean, looking at these two, if you hadn't seen the film, you'd think you'd just seen a sex scene easily. And she's saying, "Oh, you know, Pops told me about how good a military leader he was, and I've seen all the files, but I don't know what he's like as a person." And then Jai starts reminiscing, and my God, it's the gayest monologue. But also, how much older is John than Kyle? Because if Kyle was a kid when he first was saved by John and saw him, do you not think that they would look... Do you not think that John should have aged a bit more when we then go to the present time and you see John hanging out with Jai, or John hanging out with Kyle? They look the same age.
Not necessarily. Well, I mean, because he's not the real John Connor, he's kind of the facsimile of that moment, isn't he? Because he got kind of like copied and replaced.
No. But when we see John at the beginning of the film, that's before he's infiltrated into Skynet. When he sends Kyle back, that's before he becomes a Terminator, so that is John. Now, he looks almost exactly the same as when you saw him at the beginning of the film when he saves young Kyle Reese.
I don't know. I think you get to a certain age in adulthood where there's this corridor of time when you can't look the same for a decade or so. I think it's between the age of about 30 and 40, and then it all just starts to fall apart as your cells start replicating and the death process begins.
Death. Take him to the death yard.
I was good up until now, and now I'm starting to fall apart. I can see it.
You say that, but I don't see it at all. But also what you have to remember, Ethan, is the last month and a half, you've been working ridiculously long hours, going from Surrey to London on a moped in freezing cold weather. You don't have any
torrential rain.
You don't have any thermals
sideways
at
rain,
all. You only recently got
rain.
gloves. Like,
I need to get gloves. That's what I need to do.
You really do need to get gloves. And a warm jacket.
You'll need to get gloves.
What you need is a leather jacket, but with a fluffy inside. That'd be ideal.
I need a woman like that as well.
But that's probably why you feel like you look like hammered shit. It's not actually you at all. You look amazing for your age.
You.
Shut up. If we could all look like you at your age, we'd be very happy people.
By the way, listeners, I'm hooked into a new podcast at the moment, and it's not a big commitment. It's like 13 minutes per show. The Ghostbusters Minute guys, Kyle and Brady, who we're guesting with, I think, the day after tomorrow, but we've still not got a clip.
I know, I've noticed that.
They do Jurassic Park Minute. It's actually really good, and I want to pick their brains on a few things. So we're going to do 2-minute Jurassic Terminator, 2-minute Jurassic Ghostbusters on Saturday.
2-minute Jurassic. How does that work?
Jurassic. Well, we're guesting on Ghostbusters Minute. I mean, by the time you hear this show, we'll have done it by a few days, hopefully. But they've not sent us a clip yet. So are they kind of trying to figure out where to stick us, or they forgot they asked us to do this and we didn't respond in time? And
No,
going,
because you must have seen the conversation we've been having backwards and forwards. They've confirmed the time and they said that they'd send us the clip, but they just haven't. I'll message them again and be like,
Okay.
Oi, you guys, pull your bloody socks up. This is how we do it in England.
Yeah. Well, we can do Jurassic Park Minute if they want, either or. But yeah, it's a good show. Check them out, listeners.
Check it out.
Anything else, Sally?
Yeah. When Kyle is talking about the relationship between him and John, I really did expect him to start going on and start telling him about a passionate gay moment that they shared in the shower.
I used to follow him around.
And
like a
as he's
dog.
describing this
Do
story,
anything he
Sarah's
said.
getting all hot and bothered, and she really slowly takes off her bra. And you know when women kind of let their fingers drape on their shoulders and kind of down onto their chest? It's like, dude, he's talking about your son.
I think you're weirdly obsessed with
I think I am.
Amelia Clarke, Ellie.
I
don't know why.
Because everyone's
She's so,
like, because
average.
everyone's like, oh my god, she's amazing. Oh my god, she's so hot. It's like, really, I think she's all that. And it's the rule that I always live by,
she's
Ethan.
just ordinary.
Don't believe the hype. Whenever something is hyped, you know that really, it's like, if it was actually that good, it wouldn't need.
Well, I think things are fashionable to like or hate, aren't they? And everyone jumps in the bandwagon. The same way Chappie, I thought was really good.
No, I
Everyone
thought
said it was a
Chappie-
piece
I
of
thought
shit.
Chappie was
Chappie is crappy.
I really enjoyed it.
But that just became
though
the
I
film
hate
to
Diane
hate in
Wood.
that moment.
I mean,
Exactly.
she's weirdly hot in a kind of like prepubescent alien girl kind of way. But their music is absolutely atrocious. And actually, Diane Wood is another one where like everyone was like, "Oh my god, they're so amazing! They're this." Like, I'd heard so much about them. I thought, who are these Diane Wood people? Saw them. I thought, oh, they look pretty wacky. Let's give it a go. And I didn't just listen to 1 or 2 of their tracks. I listened to a good, like, I went through an album. Every track, it was just terrible. It's Ethan, your singing earlier, your impression of Brian Blessed was way better. Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, don't believe the hype, kids.
Very
Don't
true.
believe the hype, unless it's hype about Terminator 1 and 2. That's legit. And other James Cameron works.
And there James Cameron. And there we have it. Our 2 shortest episodes for the entire season and for a long time. It's only because your charming host here is discombobulated and has no idea what's actually going on. So I'm just kind of like
That's
treading
okay.
water until the end. We shall return tomorrow with the episodes 23 and 24. Not on the same day, of course.
This was 23, so it'll be 24 and 25.
24 and 25, yes. The Nexus point in the timeline will be corrected. And Ellie weirdly can see 2 alternate previous episodes that may or may not have happened.
Mirrored. Anyway, thank you so much for listening, everyone. Find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on SoundCloud. Watch the YouTube videos that Ethan puts so much time, love, blood, sweat, and semen into making. They do look incredible.
Yeah, we're actually unique in the Minute Family podcast by actually presenting the clip we talk about as we talk about it, Mystery Science Theater 3K style. With a few extra bonuses too. So, yeah, we shall return, of course, with minutes 24 and 25 as the week progresses. And we won't mention the missing 30 seconds of Sarah pointing a gun at Jai Courtney. They're going to fall in love anyway. Let's pretend that never happened. It's the director's cut version.
Baby winked at me.
Ellie, check your Viber. If you look at the 2-minute Terminator page, you can find the biggest collection of Terminator, everything basically, production stills, behind the scenes, posters, action figures, everything. So please check us out and like the page 2-minute Terminator. The 2 pictures we mentioned in the last episode of the pantsless Sarah Connor and the Oliver Twist, the Oliver Reed-esque werewolf head. Hot Toys Sarah Connor head will be presented on that website. So check us out and we'll be back. We'll be back, baby.
for machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines. They will rule the world. I'll be back.